town.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that.
No.
Okay.
Hello. Welcome to episode 2 of Messy, Mortal and Magnificent. I'm Jessie.
I'm Ali.
And we are going to do another session of rambling. All things life, death, everything in between. The theme of this session will not remain the whole way through. There will be side topics. But we got people asking in, I suppose, really relating to the ADHD. I feel like everyone will relate to this, but we're just going to talk about strange things that everybody goes through with grief and like how we deal with it and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'll let you talk.
Well, it applies to autism too.
Yeah.
So, I think the thing we talked about earlier on today was about forgetting.
Yeah.
So, like I've experienced this. I'm experiencing this at the moment because my friend died last month or earlier on this month, and she was someone I talked to on the phone all the time. A virtual friend in a way. She'd come up and stay every now and then. She lived down the country, and she passed away very suddenly.
I'm smiling I'm like, I know where this is going. She passed away and I'm like,
she passed away really suddenly, and I got my head around it. It was really traumatic, but life went back to normal.
Yeah.
And you get on with things. And then like I was dropping Neve to school one day, my kid, and it's a time that I would normally ring my friend Jane because I have uninterrupted time and everyone's gone. And we used to spend hours on the phone. So Neve got out of the car and I went to hit the phone book to phone Jane.
Yeah.
And I automatically straight away felt like, oh my God, I can't. And it was the grief.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, it was like, oh, I fucking forgot.
Shit. And she knows.
Oh my God, she knows. She's watching me and she's going,
she was waiting.
Bitch.
Yeah, that long?
Yeah. So it's the shock of the grief, it's the shock of forgetting, and then it's the guilt of forgetting. Now, I'm sure this happens to lots of people when it's, someone you don't see on a regular basis.
Yes. Yeah. Like
it's not necessarily a neurodivergent thing.
No, but this is what people, because I have a lot of community with ADHD, autism and stuff, but this is the thing. Everyone forgets, and there is an element of if the person you're grieving wasn't in your immediate day-to-day.
Yes.
Sometimes I think you get riddled with guilt, but sometimes it's like, no, this is actually a gift you're given to be allowed, like, step back, but people make themselves feel guilty. You know, if you weren't in your day to day, you will forget because you were doing something. But the interesting thing about ADHD autism is it takes it to a whole other level, because even when people are alive, there's a thing like object permanence and stuff, where it's like out of sight, out of mind completely. And my best friend texts me all the time. We've been best friends since we were like 13, 14. I go 2 days later, she exists. She exists. Better see what she's doing, because it's there's like different worlds that I do move into, and there's different and people fit into those different worlds. And that when it comes to grief, because it's even if it's you will absolutely, it's a whole other level of forgetting. Yes, it's not I'll get back. And people understand it's a different level of forgetting, and when that is mixed with grief. And I think it's like with some of the first times that happen. And so like everyone can relate to this. It's just that it's at a heightened level of forgetting. And when it's related to grief, but it's like that first time that it happens. And this is why nobody talks about this stuff. Everyone forgets. Everyone forgets. And everyone then feels guilty for forgetting. And then the difficulty with neurodivergent, and again, we will talk about this a lot because we are, is you're already beating yourself up 24/7, and now you've got this on top of it. You're like, I'm not even grieving right.
Something else I shall add it to the list.
Oh, another thing I'm failing. Oh, another way. It's actually an interesting one because we were talking about we were just talking there about off camera about the neurodivergent experience in grief. And it's like people don't quite understand. Neurodivergent people experience life deeper. It's like more sensitive. And this is what it is. I hear, feel, sense. That's why it's so difficult. And I'm processing at this alarming speed already on the get-go. And when grief comes into it, it's what it does to our body as well. It's a hand in hand. Like, you're out of your body. A lot of autistic ADHD people are out of their body because the body is constantly alarming them. We're like, shh, shh. No, I must mask. And the body is, and people will find this and you'll hear me saying this all the time. This is not just ADHD autism, but it's very sensitive. When you're grieving, your body has gone through pain and stuff like that. But I'm so sensitive. So the pain that I was experiencing through my body was so severe. Mm-hmm. I remember actually when Dad died, I thought I was handling it quite well, but I was crippled. My body, I could not get out of bed. I was like,
I had a few days like that.
I was going to the chiropractor, and I thought, no, I'm handling it well. It's just very physical. Now in hindsight, I was like, my body was in bits. But it's just an interesting thing that people don't talk about enough. And I think we're going to ramble a bit about, there is no way to grieve. There is no right way to grieve, but you will find your way, but communicating with the people around you and explaining it as it goes. I feel like exploring your own grief is so valuable because the people around you, then you can explain it to them.
Yes.
You can explain it to them. A lot of people think unless you've gone through grief, if you've gone through it, you're an asset to someone else, right? Mm-hmm. But a lot of people who have been grieving watch grieving. They think that it's just this linear process.
Yeah.
And they also think, and we said this in the last episode, they also think that grief is, I really miss this person. That is a luxury. If your grief is just, I really miss them. Mm. And I'm gonna go off topic slightly, but me and you talk about the difficult stuff of you still had to be a mum.
Yeah.
You still had to do the things and be neurodivergent.
Yes.
You're already struggling.
Yeah.
Already struggling. I was struggling just to be alive. And I'm like, oh, wonderful. And now you add a little sprinkle of devastation into the mix. And people think that, they're grieving. She just really misses her dad.
It's a denser fog than the fog you hear about in grief. The brain fog and it's I can't see anything.
Gone.
Yeah.
Hello? Hello? We were talking about masking and stuff a lot as well. And again, I'm broken record. This will be relevant to everybody. Everybody masks, but an autistic person, the mask is horrific.
Master level.
Yeah. But when you go through this intense grief, it's the mask is and you're like, no. And you're like, you need to put it back on. Get back on. There's something in the way. For us, it was autism.
Yeah.
It's not fitting. No. But a lot of people, and I find this with a lot of people that I work with, is you try and go back to doing the things that you were doing, and that mask won't go back on.
Yeah.
Can't.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's absolutely impossible. I really found that after John died. And I, at that stage, hadn't realised. I was beginning to watch my kids and go, okay, they didn't pick it up off the street, but I hadn't realized myself.
Yeah.
I'd seen some similarities, but I hadn't. So I found myself in the grief, and as you do, you're looking at resources and stuff and going, well, okay, it's pretty normal that I feel like this, but is it normal that I feel like this times 3?
Or is it normal I felt like this before he died?
Yeah. And why can't I do anything?
Yeah.
It's like you were saying, you were practically paralyzed physically.
Yeah.
I was the to-do list, and like I kind of threw myself into stuff straight away when he died, with organizing things, the funeral and paperwork and the sadmin, which is a couple of podcasts all on its own. And then when it was all over, it was like, okay, time to grieve, and
quickly.
Oh my God, I've been able to do very little since that was 2 years ago nearly. So yeah, it's just so much I think it's so much for your brain to process. It shuts down. So you can only do the very necessary things. And I'm only getting to a stage now where I can start to do add in
brush my teeth.
Little things.
Put my shoes on. But I feel like the systems fall, right? So we suddenly pull back when you've gone through this. Suddenly all the things that were quite normal, the way people work, the systems, the whatever, you're like, along with autism. What?
Yeah.
But you're just going, it doesn't make sense anymore. It doesn't make sense anymore.
Put it on silent.
But you know what I mean? It doesn't. So sorry. Ruined it. But it doesn't, none of it made sense. I haven't, like I said, I've been long gone from this planet. I think I left with Dad.
Yes.
But again, with Dad, and this is the thing, I had a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I've been looking for who am I, in the eyes of everyone else.
Okay.
Which is such a masking autistic experience. I'm like, you'll tell me who I am. You'll tell me who I am. I was I needed an identity. Mm-hmm. So I was the carer. I was, whatever. And then I was my dad's carever. This was a big one. It was a few years, dad's carer into COVID. I was like free falled into, I'm nothing. Who am I? What am I now?
That's,
whoa. And suddenly it was like,
I wonder you were paralyzed, Jess. Yeah.
Paralyzed. But again, it was because, it was the fact that I could not actually, I remember actually saying to my mom, that's when I was like, I think it was a year or two after this, but I was going, something wrong. There's something wrong. This nearly like, this isn't grief. This is something else. I was like, Mom, there's something wrong with me. Like it was like suddenly I could see all the tabs open. Suddenly I could see, and I tried to explain to people what autism can feel like if there's a pending something or, something that's niggling at you. It's like, you try to do your office work with a warning sign or attention constantly coming up on the screen, and and it keeps, and that's my
really good description. Yeah.
It's a lot of time to think of these things. Right. But that's what it's like. And they're saying you just need to focus, or don't think about that now. You're like, but it keeps bum, bum, bum. And if all these warning tabs and different things coming up and playing and music and, viruses over here.
Yes.
And I was like, this isn't grief. This is something else. But I discovered it in my grief. Yeah. And when I'm working with clients, like I work with the body. The body is the body is absolutely amazing. I am more of a teacher, not a psychotherapist. I teach you to know yourself. I teach you to hear your own. You don't have to tell me anything. People tell me everything. They tell me everything. But you don't. Yeah. Day one, here's my life. Yeah, here's my birth certificate. Yeah. But, it's I teach, and I teach with the body. But it was interesting because hang on, I lost my train of thought here.
A few moments later.
Recording, that's fine. Recording. It was actually that, and I have to say this. I always say this to people. This is what me and you talk about. That even though I'm end of life doula and I work with grief, it's everything else that gets uprooted. It's not just grief. It's everything else, and that's what I say to people. Is like, you know what? Often, and it sounds so complicated. I'm like, you're already here. You're already on the floor. Mm-hmm. You might as well. And that's actually how I felt. It was, I didn't even have a choice, but it did feel like, well, fuck it. Gives a look. Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's a huge amount to cope with on top of
More
grief
than I knew.
and the forgetting and the my stuff.
Oh
Yeah.
my. And I would have always considered myself someone that didn't have much.
Mm.
Well,
Mm.
oh my gosh, it's still been like, jeez, whoa.
Yeah, see, once you open the lid on that, it's
It's the ADHD. You've packed it away in the wardrobe.
yeah.
You're like, holy shit, I don't remember this.
I forgot about you.
Where did I get this from? Just wearing all my trauma. What's this? Yeah, but you know what? And I said this, I'd rather have a very difficult 5 years than live the rest of my life not knowing what's in there. Because it controls every single thing you're doing all the time.
So what do you do when you find yourself on the floor and looking at it and realizing actually there's a load of stuff going on for me here?
After a lot of screaming, right? In horror over what's there.
Can we come back to screaming later?
Yeah. Do you know what? This is what this podcast is about. Find your people.
Yeah.
Finding your people, like allowing yourself to grieve.
Mm-hmm.
And making a choice as well. And we had this discussion before. It's like, do you want to get better? And people are like, what? What are you talking about? People can struggle. They don't want to look at these things. They don't want to delve into it. It is hard work. And the reason they do want to get better is because we talked about this like trauma bond thing before.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, me and Ali trauma bonded in a way to uplift each other. So like when one is down, the other's like, whoop.
Yes.
Whoop. And it's like you bond over trauma, technically, because there's a similarity. But this is a beneficial bond because we are both actively wanting the other person to be good. And so it's like holding each other when we're down.
Yes.
To lift up. Whereas you can be very careful because you can meet someone in trauma bond, and we were saying before, and it's like,
just keep each other stuck.
Yeah. It's like, yes, drink all the wine. You can have some wine, it's fine, you know. But it's like, yeah, no one knows how bad life is. No one knows how hard. Drink wine. Sad. I understand. And that's dangerous.
Yes.
That's dangerous. Yeah. And so that's where, you know, these groups, me and Ali's mission is the uplifting side. It's creating communities of people that are like absolutely being held in your pain, in your sadness, because it's vital. But that it's in a, you know, we'll hold you in your pain and your sadness and bring you up, you know,
yes,
on that when there's that whoop.
Yeah. It's so important to have people like that. And it's so easy to stay stuck, especially if you're surrounded by the wrong people, I imagine.
Yeah. How have you found it with friendships and...
yeah, we talked about this a little bit.
Keeping it vague, of course.
I think, yeah, keeping it very how to keep it vague. Yeah, I think possibly I have some people who would prefer that I kind of stay in it a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
it's more comfortable.
Yeah.
It's more comfortable for some people to see you sad and to see you grieving and to...
It's expected. So
they want to be supportive and they want to be part of that journey with you. But I feel like there are some people in my life who I've been a bit of a disappointment to.
Because you're smiling?
Well, because we spoke about this earlier. When John died, like fairly soon after he died, I was like... I could feel life pulling me forward.
Yeah.
You know, not like forgot about him a few days later, but you know, I could feel it, and I talk to people all the time about it as well. And that's been a theme for me since he died, that I've really paid attention to.
Yeah, because
he would have been really disgusted if I'd sat around wallowing for years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you're going to meet people who are like, okay, I can help you in this. This I can help with.
And you're down.
And then when you're out of it, they're like, oh.
Do you know what? But that's an interesting when you're out of it, because you're not out of it. You're going through it in the most healthy way.
See you as...
But they assume you moving on with life is being out of it.
Yes.
And I think that's what's so important about this.
Yes.
Is understanding that you will grieve always. Right?
Yeah.
But it's so much healthier to ride the waves rather than fight against it. So you're going to have days where you feel amazing. Go with it. Have that amazing day.
Yes.
But we get rid of the guilt because you're not supposed to do that. That means this and that means that. Or we also, and I know this is this is everyone really, but ADHD autism, your sense of self is coming from all these other people. And then we feel obligated to act in a way that we think is inappropriate.
Yeah. So
I must grieve. And if I'm now laughing and smiling, are you thinking that I didn't love John?
Yes.
I don't care. My dad's, I'm fine now.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm laughing and joking.
And as well, that, I'm okay now. Are you going to withdraw your support?
Yeah. Yeah, because, and this is so important. Like, these are the discussions that, I could be feral today. Do you know what I mean? Feral, full of life. And then, do you know what? I'm not going to be in 2 days' time. And that you're my friend in both.
Yes.
And that when I'm feral, you're like, let's fucking go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when I'm not, you're like, here, little blanket. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, there, and that's natural. It's healing, not linear. Grieving, none of it. We know this.
Yeah.
We know this. And that's why, like, finding your people, either neurodivergent and that whole thing, that whole off party.
That's a big help.
Or when I say healthy grievers, I mean people who are embracing it.
Yeah.
Right. Because they will help you ride the waves and release that guilt. It's that guilt.
Yes.
And shame of being happy. I talk about this a lot that, I was very connected when I was like doing all this releasing work that, when someone dies, you love them so much. By the way, off topic, there will be other, we're going to talk a lot about the other difficult types of death that will get people to write into, because not all grieving is love and light and they were a great person. So I want people to know that there's there's all this other type of stuff that we're happy. We want this to be a discussion. But anyway, gone off topic there again.
A few moments later.
Just got it. Oh, hang on.
Okay, here, I was kind of facing you. So,
yeah. That when I was very, like, actively trying to release this stuff, and right as I'd be releasing, I would, tense up, and I realized that I was so afraid to release it, because releasing pain was letting go of dad, like letting go of love. Because when dad died, or when this person died, you're in so much pain, you connect the two. Pain is love. So when you feel them at all, you're in pain. And so the idea of releasing that pain in therapy, in sessions, and anything, you're like, I don't want to forget them. That's all I feel when I think of them is pain.
yes.
So releasing that is like, you actually want to hold on to your pain.
Yeah.
And so people can hold on to their grief in a different way, like the deep pain for so long, because they don't separate love and pain, because it's all that you felt at the same time.
Yes.
And, it is interesting because there are times where you will feel that little,
yeah,
but you can actually feel that love for them in a very expansive,
yes,
and releasing pain is not them. It's not the love, but they're so intertwined.
That was a massive moment for me.
Yeah.
You were working with me here on my sitting room floor.
Yeah.
And you said to me, it's okay to let the pain go. You're not letting John go. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Massive. Yeah. And I said it to myself so many times since. And I still say it now. It's I'm not letting him go. I'm letting the pain go.
Yeah. It's not the love. The love can't go anywhere.
That's the trick, I think, is to let it go. And I think, for me anyway, a large part of that was tied up with how John died.
Yeah.
So a lot of the pain that I was carrying wasn't just the pain of the loss, it was the pain of what led up to it as well.
Yeah.
So it's letting all of that go, and that takes a lot of time.
But this is, I'm going to be a broken record, but I love it. I love talking. It's, the luxury of just grieving, John.
Yes.
No, there was the trauma, there was the funk, there was the news, there was the way that affects the body too, because we, without realizing, we learn these things. We learned that this phone call could be a bad phone call.
Yes.
This hospital visit could be bad. It was a shock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is the thing, you're learning of the mortality and of sudden news and sudden changes. And this is what, grief is vast. Grief is vast. It is the way that your whole world gets uprooted as well. It is not just the luxury of missing someone.
No, and actually a word I used a lot to describe the whole experience after John died was violent. It felt violent.
Yeah.
Even though it was over 2 months. It just...
But 2 months is...
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
A minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That brings up screaming for me again. I used to get in the car at the hospital after being in there for a few hours and be like, I'd be coming home to the kids. I'd be like, okay, so what do I have to get myself together? So I'd have a bit of a cry. And normally once I got down, closer to home, I crank the music up and drive. I put it on cruise and I'd scream. I just scream. I'd scream my way home one day so much that when I got home, I had no voice. It's like, ah! But it was so therapeutic.
Yeah. And people don't actually realize these things. Like, normally people eventually, even like me, I didn't come into the stuff till I was desperate.
Yes.
There's things, but there's so many healthy things. But we feel like they're labeled as bad and weird. And going, that was the healthiest thing that you could have done.
It was the first time I'd ever done that. And it felt so intuitive. It was just like, what do I need to do? I need loud, angry music and I need to scream.
Yeah.
And I think I told one or two people, I had one or two people go, you all right driving? I'm like, yeah, I can scream and drive at the same time. I'm multitasking.
I have ADHD. Can't do anything. Anything and nothing. I can do anything and nothing.
Wow. Yeah.
Like, and I love talking about death. I love it, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I love death, right? I'll tell you why I love it. No, because people there's no mask. You're meeting somebody in this, like, the mask is off. And we're like, there you are. Mm-hmm. And you meet people in their truth. And like all these friendships and stuff that I've met, it's amazing.
Yes.
It's amazing because this is all bullshit. The world, it is bullshit.
Yes.
Because we're all lying, we're all faking, we all, and so talking about the most natural thing that we will all go through is grief. Mm. At some level, it is coming for you, or it's going to be your own mortality and, and things like that. And that is one that nobody wants to talk about because you're like, bringing down the tone. I'm like, but it won't bring down the tone if you talk about it.
No, exactly.
That's the point. It brings down the tone because everyone's like, bit morbid. And you're like, but me and you have a great laugh about it. It doesn't have to be
cracked.
You're having the chats about like, if you, would you plan, like if you could plan your own last day, you're like, what? We're like, oh my God. We weren't like, my last day. Even though I probably would. They're like, if you eat me tonight, tomorrow. And people are like, oh, I do. Imagine us. What? Tomorrow? No, but it's like, it doesn't have to be. I am full of life. I hope I live along, depending on what's coming in the world. But either that or comet. But I hope, I have this long, amazing life. But I often do think about those things, but it doesn't have to be sad.
No, it doesn't, because we're alive. We're well. I'm like, it's, well, I hope I'm well.
I was thinking, what a plot twist if I was like, making this community and end of life doula and build us and then dead. She built fuck off.
We told you to be dark humor.
They say like, planting trees that you won't sit under.
Yes.
For fuck's sake though.
Yeah. Right. I don't see much.
Jesse Cree dead. Fuck. Give me some time. Thank you.
Okay, let's go plant some trees.
Let's go plant some trees. Quick growers.
Yeah.
Slightly cinder.
Yeah. I have a tree for John. Yeah. Outside.
Yeah.
At the end of the road.
Fab.
Yeah. We'll put in 2 little trees there. Just
yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to sit under a tree I've planted. I'm sorry. I know there's that balance and I love that. It's
No.
doing things that will leave a. Maybe I can
Yes.
sit under someone else's tree.
Yeah.
I'll plant a
You've
tree for
planted
other people.
Plenty of trees,
I
girl.
have all the trees.
Yeah.
It's helping them grow is the problem. I'm a good tree planter.
Yeah, it's up to the tree.
I can buy all the tools.
That is up to the tree.
I can buy all the tools. I can read all the magazines. It'll make it my life's hobby to plant these trees. Become a gardener. Grow! And then I give up. It's not perfect. I didn't do it perfectly.
It's up to the tree. No, it's up to the tree.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was a fucking film. I'll stop for a second. Oh, take that away. And actually, someone messaged me about, two people messaged me about this, but it was about how people don't know how to speak to you.
Yes.
When it happens. And that's why these conversations are so important. But yeah, like, how did you find?
I actually, do you know what? I'm finding that even more now, further away from it, people who haven't spoken to me. So, like, out and about, bumping into people, acquaintances, people who I haven't spoken to since before John died, don't want to talk to me. I've had people do U-turn in the supermarket to avoid seeing me.
Yeah.
On more than one occasion.
Yeah.
I actually had one of the kids go, "Who's that guy with the
Running
trolley
away?"
who keeps turning around?" So it's amusing at this stage.
Yeah.
I think people who said, you know, this is really awkward and I'm really sorry and it's really shit.
That's fine.
Fantastic.
Deadly.
And I don't think you can say anything wrong if you're honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if you're being honest about how you're feeling in that moment, the person who's grieving, then it'll land.
Yeah.
Well. But yeah, I had some people say crazy things at the funeral.
I can imagine. And do you know what? I think I've had this conversation many times with you, but it's an interesting one that and I talk about energy and stuff all the time and everything, is that a lot of the times we change our energy to meet the grieving person.
Yes.
Where we go, oh, muster up a lot of sadness here. Right? So you see them sad and you go, oh, pity. Oh, because and it's natural, right? And it's only on the other side of it, do you see? You know, because before that, I was the same. You go, oh, oh. And it's interesting, especially when you kind of even understand energy and energy transfers and vibes, that like, they don't need that. I've got all my own sadness, and then, or said someone else, right? And they're so sad. So I'm going to make myself sad to go into their world, their energy, give them a hug, sad hug. That's why I've seen a friend of mine.
Feel heaps better.
Sad hug. I'll put all the sadness and pity. It's more pity.
Oh, I hate pity.
Awkward and pity is what you embody. Go into this person and hug them.
You're
right?
just...
Oh, right. And it was interesting because I had this thought. Remember I was saying I saw the friend of mine, she was grieving, and I mustered up all this like happy, and be like, happy hug, because she was miserable, right? But
how beautiful.
A happy hug. You know, I wasn't like, isn't this a glorious, you know, but it was like muster up as much love, happy, because she's got enough sadness.
Yes.
Don't bring
That's beautiful.
yourself to their level and be like, here you go. Here's some pity along with your grief. Oh, here's a little bit of awkwardness, uncomfortable, and pity. And I'm just going to embrace you with that.
Yay, just what I needed.
I'm just hold it here for a minute.
I never thought of it that way.
No.
The hug.
Yeah, the hug.
Yeah,
and give them a little, you're gonna be, muster up as much.
That's beautiful. I think that's absolutely, I'm going to remember. We know you're gorgeous.
It's just me. That's me. Yeah, but it's, you know me, I'm all about the I sense the people's energy. So we all do. It's like everyone does, but it's interesting when you can start to see these things
What
that we do.
a lovely gift to give someone who's grieving.
A big hug of love.
Just love.
Anything.
Yeah.
But you don't have to have it on your face. It's like,
Yeah.
But just inside, bundle up a bit of care, love, excitement, even. Anything that's
That
just
intention.
like,
yeah,
intention.
Yeah.
Just that there's even just compassion. Don't go up into somebody grieving with pity and awkwardness, uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's literally the transfer.
I was saying this to you the other day. The best thing that was said to me on the day of John's funeral was my friend's dad, who is just a gas man, came to the funeral, came over to me, grabbed my hand, held it with both his hands, and he said, "I'm sorry, pet. What can I say? What a load of shite."
What a load of shit. Yes. I love that.
Thank you.
This is fucking crap.
Thank you.
Yeah. But it is interesting because I find myself, we are socially awkward in general.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so involved in all this, and I will still be like, thinking of you. Condolences. Because it's like, because that's the fear is that I know this person, but if all these people are like, who's your one? Fuck. Bullshit.
The crazy lady.
This is
condolence book.
Well, a lot of crap. But it is. And I think this is like having your community, finding your tribe, understanding, getting involved with people.
Yes.
Going to these things. I think people hide away because you think, oh, I don't be all around all these sad people. I'm sad. I have found some of the nicest, happiest people through grief.
Yes.
Because there are people out there that are like, oh, I'm going to live and I'm going to learn to be, imagine, in pain and happy all in one.
Yes.
As humans, like I said, we identify with one emotion. I'm anxious. You could be excited, anxious, nervous, proud of yourself. Like there's all these emotions. You could do something really difficult and you're like, oh, it's really stressful. But I'm also proud of myself. I'm also a little bit excited of the opportunity. I'm also, but we're like one emotion. So when you're grieving, it's just like, oh, I'm missing someone, or I'm sad, but I could,
I think that's what makes grieving so scary for so many people, because we can hold all the emotions and we don't know that we can hold more than one.
All of them.
Until we have to.
Yeah.
So when you find yourself feeling them, it's quite scary and it's confusing. And I'm thinking of, I told you about the first counsellor I went to after John died. Told you about this?
Yeah.
So I went to see this counsellor, and I went for, I think, 2 sessions, and on my 3rd session I rocked up and I had a good day.
God forbid.
And I had and I had a couple of shopping bags with me. I'd been down to the shops first, and I rocked in, and she asked how I was, and I said I was having a good day, and we chatted a little bit, and I was in great form, and she said, I think you need to feel your pain more. Okay.
Okay.
So you need to feel into it. You need to sit with it. I was like, well, how?
I'm just having a good day.
Just having a moment.
I'm having a good day, God forbid.
So I remember having a discovery call with the counsellor I'm with now, and saying to her, I need you to be okay if I show up for counselling with my joy in one hand and my grief in the other. She was like, I would expect nothing less.
Correct.
I was like, yes, thank you.
I say, if you're going to therapy and you don't like it, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
I'm like, this, are you joking me an hour where this is all about me? I'm in. I walk up to our therapy and I'm like, what are we doing? Excited.
Yes.
Like, I don't show up anymore like, oh, that'll come out. That might come out.
Yes.
Stuff comes out, but I'm like, hey.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I love therapy.
I think
so
it's
happy.
fantastic.
I love it. You have to care about me for an hour?
Yeah.
Nice.
Did I show you my hat I got recently?
No.
I'll have to show you I'll wear it for the next one.
Therapy hat?
in therapy and embroidered across the front.
Did your therapist give you a hat?
No, I might get her one.
I want a hat. Yeah. Me and my therapist are going to be making masks next week.
Oh, fantastic. How many masks?
We're actually doing a project on masking.
Okay. Brilliant.
I know, it's me. I walk in, I'm like a 12-year-old, and I go in, tongue out, doing clay. It's working. It's working.
Wow, brilliant.
Yeah, because art therapy, and it's something for me to do instead of just talking. Because I talk to myself all day. I don't need that. I don't need that. I'm my own therapist.
Yes.
She's wonderful. She's great. But yeah, like we're making masks because that's that's been a big player in my life.
Yes.
I actually talk. This is for another podcast. But it was talking about my incredible mask being now the biggest barrier to being seen as autistic.
Okay.
And and a lot of, I know so many high masking people, and like my two therapists, I'm going back to my other one eventually, but they both are like, who diagnosed you? Like, okay. And then as it goes on, they're like, oh, there it is. Right. Yes. Fair. Interesting.
Let me show you.
And then what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is, but it's because my mask is so perfected. And you know what?
Well,
so
when you're late diagnosed, I think it's got to be. It's
flawless.
pretty much super glued
I
on
had
your face.
bells and whistles on this shit. Like, phenomenal. No one would know. That was the point. Oh, and now I'm like, oh, no one knows. Oh no! Oh,
don't believe
help
me. Yeah,
help me! I have needs. I can't run at this capacity. All my effort is this. My arms are tired, and you have to do all the things while keeping the mask on. And you're like, ooh. And that's the thing, And I think this is what happens. And I'm going to go back to this. The last thing I'll say. Mm-hmm. That's what grief does, whether you're autistic or not. It shakes up all the things. It's like you can't do that anymore.
Yeah,
that's got to stop. It's got to stop. But you know what? I'm glad my dad died or anything like that. Thank God Dad died because of all this. Phew. But, I made something of it.
Yeah, you took the gifts.
I made something of it. I went into extreme pain. And I think as well, I've gone, do you know what? I am making something of your passing.
What a way to honor
I will give
someone.
it a meaning. Yeah. And also, I will, there are certain traits of Dad that I know I have, and I love it, and I'm like, and I will leave a legacy, and and your death sparked something.
Yes.
And I say to people, it's like, whether you believe everything happens for a reason or not, sometimes I feel it does, sometimes I believe you give it the meaning. And so especially in death, if you're really struggling, give it a meaning. Do something, whether it's just you being the most vibrant, amazing you for them.
Yes.
Shine.
Yeah.
Use that. Like, do something from it. Build something. Create something. And it gives it meaning.
It really does.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
And it's a lovely way to honor the person who's gone as well.
Yeah.
Yes, beautiful.
I mean, they're fine. We're stuck here.
Yeah.
They're grand. They're fine.
You're sitting somewhere going, what are you doing?
So, what are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah. But anyway. Okay. Write into us for any topics, anything like that you want us to discuss. Nothing really is off limits, because if there's something that you find people don't want to talk about, we will.
Yes.
We will.
And tell us your stories.
Tell us your stories. We'll leave it anonymous unless you are happy with us saying your name. And we look forward to hearing from you.
Bye. See you soon.